Good morning, Digit fam. Adam Dowd here, ready to serve you up another round of delicious tech beverages. They say time flies when you're having fun, and this week is certainly bearing that out. This is podcast number 8 of 11 that I will record and publish this week, and I can't believe it's already Thursday. So, what's up, Thursday? How you doing? It is October 3rd, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. After the Samsung launch of the Note and the Apple launch of the iPhone series, it would have been easy to let your eyes glaze over at yet another launch event, this time by Microsoft. But Microsoft wasn't having any of that, as it took to a really tiny stage to show off the latest hardware. And you could talk about the smarminess of Samsung events and the dad jokes that permeate Apple events. They're both fun and they have their place. But the deadpan delivery of Panos Panay is hands down my favorite delivery, and I honestly don't know why. He often looks bored, but not in a disinterested kind of way. It's more like the confident, look, I already know this is the best product on the planet, and so do you. I'm not sure why I have to stand here and explain something you already know. Just look at it. Come on, let's go have lunch. And side note, I would love to sit down and have lunch with that man. So, Microsoft started out with the standard stuff, the Surface 7, the Surface Laptop, they've got Intel's latest processors, although there is an option for an AMD Ryzen chip as well, USB Type-C, along with USB Type-A, fast charging, roughly 10 hours of battery life, all great stuff. Then there's the Surface Pro X, which is a 13-inch convertible tablet that's only 5.33 millimeters thick and weighs just a hair over 1.5 pounds. It has a Surface Pen dock inside the flip cover, and it runs on a chip co-designed between Microsoft and Qualcomm called the Surface SQ1 processor. So yes, it's a mobile processor, which means all-day battery life, supposedly, and an always-on LTE connectivity. It starts at $999 with multiple configurations going up from there. Microsoft also introduced Surface Earbuds, and let's just say that when I said on Monday that Microsoft doesn't have to be in the audio space, well, I was right. These are huge, true wireless earbuds that look like you have silver dollars hanging out of your ears, and maybe you don't look more ridiculous than you do with AirPods, but arguably just as ridiculous. Now, these do have some tie-ins with Microsoft apps, like you can advance a PowerPoint with a swipe across the earbud. For some damn reason. Supposedly, they also offer real-time language translation, which could be pretty killer, but there wasn't much of a demonstration of that. So we'll have to wait for the reviews to see what's up there. At $250, they're pricey. But that takes us to the one more thing and the one more thing that Microsoft pulled out of its cap. Microsoft also introduced, and introduced is the key word here, we'll get into that in a second, but Microsoft also introduced the Surface Neo and the Surface Duo, and these were the biggest wow moments of the day, and arguably of the year. Both devices are dual screen devices with 360-degree hinges, much like the LG G8X that we saw at IFA, but so much prettier. The Surface Neo has two 9-inch screens and runs Windows 10X, which is Microsoft's new version of Windows 10 for dual-screen devices. The Surface Duo runs Android. Yes, you heard that right. Microsoft is making an Android phone/tablet. The Surface Duo can take calls, but Microsoft doesn't call it a phone, nor do they want you to call it a phone. It's a mobile device. Okay, but it's kind of a phone, just saying. One other thing, the Surface Neo, the folding tablet, also has a flip-around keyboard that covers just over half of one screen, which means you can set it down onto a table and turn it into a laptop. Plus, the half of the screen that's exposed turns into a touchpad, or a Wonder Bar as they called it. Yeah, Wonder Bar. Well, it's early, they can still rename it, and that brings me to the launch date for these two folding devices. They're coming for the holidays! 2020. Seriously. Okay, so this story is running long, so I don't have a lot of time to say why this is a terrible idea, but this is a terrible idea. By the time these devices come to market, foldables will be in full swing with full screens, not just two screens on a 360-degree hinge. There won't be a line down the center, and the software for foldables will be that much more refined, and the price will have come down as well. I get the sense that this is a swing and a miss for Microsoft. If they said holiday 2019, or even like spring 2020, then they're totally killing it. But if they wait for more than a year, I have to think that they're just killing it. Well, we'll see what happens over the next year, but if 2020 is anything like 2019, good luck, Microsoft. So with that, let's head into the Roundup! Microsoft is looking quite googly these days. Microsoft's web browser is built on Chromium, aka the underpinnings for Chrome, and now Microsoft's phone mobile device runs Android. Satya Nadella himself said, "We're not worried about controlling the operating system, we just want people to use our apps and services," which makes sense. It's long been Microsoft's mantra, a computer on every desk running Microsoft software. Hell, I'm recording this on my MacBook that has Office on it, so that's a win for Microsoft, but this is also a win for Google. Also during the demonstration, Panos Panay showed off how the Surface was designed to be easily repairable, but Gizmodo did some digging and found that some special tools were required to access the components in the laptop, and that users who open their own laptops will void the warranty. So the laptops are repairable, but only for authorized repair centers, and how is that better for anyone except for authorized repair? Oh. References to Apple AirPods with noise cancellation have been found in the code for iOS 13.2. As Apple is expected to host another device event later this month, it's possible that we'll see these new AirPods. No word yet on when Apple will release AirPods with looking like a dork cancellation. Maybe that'll be a 2020 thing. If you live in America, there's a better than average chance you did not buy a new car last month or last quarter. New car sales are down for basically everyone and everything on the market, meaning that people aren't buying new cars anymore. Plus, add to that a bonus story I got from following this particular rabbit hole. Apparently 7-year car loans are a thing. Now, I bought my last car with a 6-year loan, and I thought that was pretty crazy. Getting back to the September slump, the good news is, if you're in the market for a new car, you can probably use this slump to your advantage and get some really solid deals on your next purchase. Here's a tip. Talk to the manager of a dealership and just look out on the lot and say, "Boy, that's a lot of 2019 cars out there." Samsung has long shipped 2 different SKUs of each of its phones, one with Qualcomm chips and one with Exynos chips. Exynos processors are Samsung's own processor built with Samsung's own cores called Mongoose cores. Unfortunately, for years now, Exynos chips have consistently failed to keep up with Qualcomm silicon, so Samsung said screw it and laid off its entire R&D center in Austin, Texas, and with it, seemingly retired its Mongoose cores. The Exynos processor isn't going anywhere. More than likely, Samsung will just rely on ARM to produce cores for its processors going forward. I mean, it sucks for the folks in Austin, but something had to give, and it did. And finally, I'll leave you with this little tidbit of information. A vulture can fly up to 400 kilometers a day in search of carrion to feed off of. But the vultures in Spain rarely, if ever, cross the border into Portugal. And the reason isn't obvious at first. The border between Spain and Portugal follows along, but the climate isn't really different on either side of the river. What is different is the law, specifically that Portuguese farmers are required to burn or bury their dead cattle. Spanish farmers are not. You can follow the Twitter thread linked in the show notes to learn more about it, but the bottom line is, humans have more of an effect on nature than we often give ourselves credit for, even if it's just health codes that end up determining the traveling pattern of carrion birds. So that's going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on Digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and don't forget to tell your friends about DigitDailyPod.com. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.